All right, everyone, we should be live. Let's make sure that's actually the case over on Rumble. Of course, we've got lots and lots of good news to cover today, starting off, of course, with the SCOTUS decision, which is that Donald Trump indeed is eligible for the ballot. We knew that that would be their decision anyway. We didn't know, though, what the proportion would be. There were a couple of people, and Kagan especially, who may have held out, but no, it was a unanimous decision. So we'll be clanking. We've got jam and bean coffee here. Lots of it. On my third cup of the day. Clem Simple. Sounds like you have a failing USB device or port. Yeah, that has been giving me problems. Let me adjust that really quickly. Things might drop out really quick. Just a sec. Come on. Okay. Hopefully that takes care of it. Otherwise, I need a new USB splitter and another platform actually for it. Luminaire. Hey, Sticks, fellow Vermonter here. Would love to buy you a drink sometime. Sounds good to me. Gin and tonic or something like that. Yeah, hard apple cider. Gorgeous mayhem. Isn't the establishment kind of signaling they expect Trump to be president by putting poison pills in bills like him not being able to leave NATO? Yeah, they're definitely expecting that. The Desert Lad. I sadly watched the Philip DeFranco show to keep tabs on liberal views. When talking about Nikki Haley, he stated her staying in is supposed to be symbolic to those who hate Trump. Yeah, it's definitely a symbol at this point. We'll be talking about that. We've got the SCOTUS decision, Haley winning in D.C., not a surprise. The NYPD really fucking up with their anti-gunnery. Oh my God, people were fact-checking this live the other night on Twitter. And the 6-week ceasefire proposed for Gaza. We'll be talking about that. Haiti is destabilizing, and Oregon may recriminalize certain classes of drugs, actually. So that's the news of the day. Mike the Wapo, good afternoon. Hope your garden is well. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of sproutlings over there, including the microgreens. Mulgara85. Hey, Sticks, did Against the Left arrive? Yes, I got the book that you sent me. I'll be reading that and then probably reviewing it, but I've got a shit ton of books to read and review, so it might take a little bit of time. But I thank you very much for that. It looks really good. It's definitely down my alley, Mulgara, so thank you very much. Virgil Shadow, any plans to invest in Rumble stock? Disclaimer, not financial advice, but yeah, I'd probably invest in Rumble. Mike the Wapo, good afternoon. Oh, I already read that one. God damn it. But yes, we'll be talking about all sorts of news today. And then I'm going to go charcoaling again. I just got another load in. I did that about 10 minutes ago. I've got a lot of biochar to charge. It's definitely going to overflow in that boat. And I'm thinking what I might do is just dump it all in and then just literally jump in and start doing the James Brown dance, shuffling back and forth to grind it up really well. Flowers in her hair. We bought Rumble at IPO. Yeah, I probably should have bought some Rumble stock back in the day. I do have a lot of Bitcoin, though. BAP and Nednarb saying that. The best leftist tears right now over the SCOTUS decision is their conspicuous silence, because it was a 9-0 decision, so they can't complain about it being partisan in any way, shape, or form. Oh my God, I fucking love that. Sigilstone. Good morning, Sticks. Did you get my news tip about Pfizer admitting their honk causes, I don't know if I can even say that on a YouTube live stream, that causes a certain medical condition, potentially. No, I actually didn't. I didn't get any message from you. Send it again, because Twitter, it's hit or miss as to whether I get messages at all. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're going to go to the news, though, first. The U.S. Supreme Court has ruled in favor of Donald Trump. The 14th Amendment ballot eligibility case has been ruled in his favor. We knew that this was going to happen. We knew that he was going to prevail at SCOTUS. From oral arguments, it was quite clear. I should probably have my gun out of the way here, because you're not allowed to show those on a YouTube live stream these days because they're afraid you'll kill yourself on a stream. But we knew that, or at least suspected that was very likely to happen. What we didn't know is whether there were going to be any holdouts, any dissident voices saying, no, in my opinion, in my fifis, Donald Trump is ineligible. Nope, there were no holdouts. It was a 9-0 decision. By the way, that is exceptionally rare in the Supreme Court. This is a rare 9-0 decision striking down the lower court decision in Colorado, which impacts the decision in Maine, as well as the reasonably recent decision in Illinois to try to challenge Trump's eligibility. And the reason is quite simple. Donald Trump was never found guilty of insurrection. If you don't have a charge, you would be violating due process under the Constitution. If you try to punish somebody, politically or otherwise, and they haven't been found guilty by a jury of their peers or opted for a judiciary trial, just a judge deciding their fate, if they haven't been found guilty, you're not allowed to punish them. You're not allowed to penalize them. It was obvious what the decision was going to be. The only thing that we needed to look for was whether there were any holdouts, but there weren't. The liberals right now are almost totally radio silent. Almost nothing from left-wing accounts. Like, I'm looking at Twitter, earlier in the wake of this decision. I guess Trump is speaking. He might be speaking now because I'm not watching the TV. And he's going to be, the braggadocio will be severe. It's going to be hilarious. I expect his polling, by the way, to go up as the result of this. Now, because of the ballot eligibility issue now being solved by SCOTUS, again, in a 9-0. If it had been a 6-3 or a 5-4 or something like that, which is typical of the Supreme Court, which shows you the ins and outs of our legal system and how malleable things can be, well, then it wouldn't have been a big thing. Liberals would come out and say, well, the Trump-stacked court has decided to exonerate him. They're going against the Constitution. How dare he run? He's not eligible because my fifis were hurt. I feel that he engaged in insurrection. But that's not what happened. It was 9-0. The liberal justices sided with everyone else, including, the liberal justices, there were 4 of them. John Roberts counts among their number. It wasn't just the Trump justices and Clarence Thomas saying that he was eligible to run. It was literally everyone there. Therefore, since they can't bitch and complain, they're not saying anything at all right now. They've pivoted to other topics. They're strenuously avoiding even discussing the Supreme Court of the United States right now. And that is much more telling than them bitching, by the way. Oh, my God, I find it so funny. I really want more salt, though. I want them to bitch and complain. The Desert Lad. By the way, thoughts on Has Been Hotel? I thought it was a red versus blue wannabe while having a decent theme of good and evil people. I'm only staying for Alastor. I like Has Been Hotel. I like Hell of a Boss better, though, and I wish they'd fucking finally release the next episode. We've been promised that series will continue, but, it's March now, and we haven't gotten anything new, so it's been a couple of months. Christopher Benedict purchased 2 hats from Wicked Embroidery. Order was incorrect. They returned my email in less than 30 minutes and made everything right. Quality company and quality people. Buy some hats, people. Yeah, they do it right. All the merch partners that I work with, I make sure to vet them beforehand. It's got to be something that, number one, I would like and or I think my fans would really like. And there does have to be good quality service. So, yes, if you see a link in the description, by the way, links in the description, I'll shout them out in a minute. They are officially endorsed Styx Hexen products. EHF, Nikki polling is the perfect representation of her. Blowout and on her knees. Yeah, blowout in D.C. That's what her ass was doing last night, probably. Dr. Strange, how will Colorado handle mail-in ballots without Trump? I have no fucking idea. Mopey Hornet, could Haley staying as long as she has so the establishment can get an estimate of Trump votes they need to brr against? Possibly, but at this point, she's not getting many votes, so. Turnout in D.C. was what? I think less than 2,000 people bothered to vote in the primary. Wow, what a stunning endorsement. Dave on Toast, powered by Dave Juice, TM. Hi, if the Dems made the illegals into legal citizens, do you think that they could then outvote Trump? Firstly, there's no methodology by which that can happen. And secondly, some of them would vote for Trump probably anyway. Mulgara. I'm glad it arrived. Lee Rockwell's a paleo-libertarian ANCAP. He's an interesting figure. I'm trying in vain to convert you to ANCAPistan. Lol. And a follow-up, I bought my first piece of silver. I got a silver coin with Sauron on it. I'll DM you a picture of it. It's badass. I'd like to see that. I stack silver. There's a company that sells silver that works with Rumble that I'm considering having a business deal with as well. Killer 93 winner. Clank from Fort Novosel, Alaska. Still prefer, or Alabama, sorry. Still prefer Texas. I have access to MREs if you want some. Hell yeah. Also have a recommendation for coffee I can send. Any tips on gardening as my wife wants to start on raised beds? Use biochar. Make charcoal. I've shown the basic methodology. It's very, very simple. Barrel in barrel, layer it up, and slow burn it. And with each layer, you get more cinder down below. It's not getting oxygen because the upper layer is the one that's aerobically burning. And it's not very efficient, but it's cheap. I mean, a quart of firewood, nice seasoned hardwood is not particularly expensive. You can get load after load, crush it up with your feet, with a car, in a roller, whatever you have to do. Put it in some sort of container, add water, then add the fertilizer. You need to add nitrogen to it. And then a week or 2 weeks later, you just add it to the soil. You will get bigger crops. I've used it before. And I didn't even charge it the first time around. Yeah. Heritage Heirloom Seed Company. Great news. Anyone who purchases a survival seed bucket in March will be entered to win a special custom soap and body product box, $50 value. Yes, we'll be shouting you out shortly. Mahalo321, you're a big part of my mornings. It feels weird when you take a day off. Thanks. Yeah, I don't like taking days off. I fucking love my job. I mean, I get paid to give my political opinions, which I would give anyway in the first place, so it's a wonderful thing. I'm glad to be part of your morning experience. Sigil Stone, sure, SCOTUS can make a ruling, but will the states abide by it? Bruin says unlikely. Sent you a link on Twitter. We'll send another after I track down an article. I think that they're going to be hard-pressed to keep him off the ballot with such a decision. With guns, it's a little bit more malleable, unfortunately. I think SCOTUS should weigh in again on Bruin. Unofficially, they don't need to make a decision. Steph Clarence Thomas trot him out and say, look, you know, the states need to abide by our ruling, otherwise there's going to be some shit. Hello, Joseph. I'm going to take you out this time. Do you remember back in the day when I sent Corn Pop to you? And he was trying to stop you from perving on the kids. And you rejected me, Joseph. But this time, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. And I am the Lord, Clarence Thomas. Yeah, something like that. Rick Rod 95. Federal Appeals Court just ruled Texas can arrest illegals crossing the border. Double win for the country, double loss for the commies. Clank. Please DM me that. That will definitely be a video tomorrow and or in the live stream. Doc Holiday. Sticks, there are lots of lowbrows screaming that SCOTUS is far-right compromised. It's awesome trolling them and being the one to tell them it was 9-0. Plenty of salt on CNN and YouTube. Yeah, no, I've seen some of it. It's pretty great. I'm having a good day, as you can imagine. Hero 101. Hey, Sticks, speaking about the Supreme Court, have you heard about Moody versus NetChoice, LLC? Because it might give states the right to regulate social media companies. Thoughts if it drops in June? Reform Section 230 and be done with it. By the way, something that Donald Trump himself has suggested. Internet Bill of Rights, reform of Section 230, leave it alone. Doc Holiday. I just read that one. Oh, I think you sent it twice, actually. Yeah, you sent your super chat twice. I don't know if you can get your money back for it, but I'll read it out again anyway, since you paid. Sticks, there are lots of lowbrows screaming that SCOTUS is far-right compromised. It's awesome trolling them and being the one to tell them it was 9-0. Plenty of salt on CNN and YouTube. You got a twofer. The bonus holes. Question, what do you call it when a clanker catches a venereal disease? A, clanker sores. But I like that one. Rusta O, did you try Tim Pool's coffee? Do you recommend? No, I didn't, actually. I didn't know that he had a coffee. Sorry, I'm still a little bit stuffed up. My nose was bleeding this morning, actually. I must have burst a vessel in my right nostril because it's 4 days running that it's been dripping every morning with blood. Maybe I'll get it on camera, you know. Ubermensch, did you hear about Canada's Online Harm Act? Would it penalize hate speech with life in prison? Yeah, no, and also seek to extradite people from other countries, which is why I made 3 days ago my video insulting Justin Trudeau. That was a new tech exclusive, so you'll have to check that out on Rumble or BitChute. I don't give a fuck what the Mounties say. Fuck the police. Musically assured destruction. My friend thinks Rand Paul isn't a good senator because he said he had evidence against against a certain medical professional based on a Hong Kong certain disease that we're not allowed to talk about, frankly, on YouTube. but nothing was done. What do you think? Well, he has done something. The investigations are ongoing into that. The Grizzly. This was a great moralizing shot in the arm for MAGA. They may be avoiding the topic now, but how long before we see justice protests from activists calling the liberal Supreme Court justices traitors? On Twitter, I think they already are, actually. Joe Hoffman. There's a document from the International Organization for Migration titled Leveraging Human Mobility to Rescue the 2030 Agenda. Worth knowing. I have to take a look at that. V. Why did Abbott wait 4 years for the border? Sus. Yeah, better late than never, though. At least he's fucking doing something. More than Joe Biden is. David Hunter, did you abandon Odyssey? No, my uploads are still on Odyssey, just not the exclusives. And the reason why is because it's too onerous to load them on there for a relatively small audience of people. I like Odyssey. I like the team there. I've communicated with them. But it is not on the same magnitude. I have to prioritize things. I only have so much time in the day. It's not on the same magnitude as a BitChute or Rumble. Lev Polyakov, I'm getting withdrawal symptoms from not eating enough biltong. I'll be eating that in half an hour when I go out charcoaling. That's why for this particular haul, Anton sends me biltong every other week. I asked only for the sticks, which is mimetic. The Angus and the Carbonasi, because when I go outside and I work, I don't really want a pile of shredded meat with me because it's more unwieldy. With the sticks, I can literally shove them in my pocket, just pull them out at my leisure and eat them. That's what I'm talking about. Let's see. Mulgera, awesome. I sent you a DM with the silver. Also, Keith Olbermann is having a real one. It's hilarious. Oh, he's hilarious every single day. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Srens 1. First SC and rant ever. Any occult rituals you know of to make sure a pet who passed suddenly is at peace? Your pet is at peace. Don't worry about that. All dogs go to heaven after all. And cats and goats. By the way, I want a goat. Death is inevitable. Don't worry about it too much. I'm going to die someday too, and there will be no more Styx Hexen videos. I've thought about preloading a bunch of posthumous stuff, actually, and having somebody else manage the channel and upload it. So you can have like a yearly I'm a ghost update. It'll be spooky as fuck. Put that on Halloween or something. Now, your pet is perfectly fine. If an animal does not have the mentality to understand right from wrong, etc., it's don't worry. It's still there. It's in the ether, and it's in a good place. Possibly reincarnating as your kid or something like that. That'd be funny. Next news story. Haley wins DC primary in crucial boost ahead of Super Tuesday as rival rages on Truth Social. Live. Story by Oliver O'Connor, Joe Summerlad, Mike Bettigan, and Gustav Kalender. Gustav! Yes, Gustav. Yeah, rather telling. There is no boost for Nikki Haley. She just lost 3 caucuses in a row. Nobody gives a shit about DC. And the overall turnout was, what, 2,000 people or something in the end? Sort of like with Michigan. Nobody bothered to vote in the caucus, and Trump still managed to get like 85% of the vote. He's running the field. He's going to win everywhere. DC doesn't count. It's not even a state. And that's the long and short of it. It is very, very telling that Nikki Haley managed to win in the literal heart of the swamp. By the way, I thought it was telling. Yeah, I'm not surprised that she won DC. It's like, I'm not going to vote for Trump. It's 90% Democrats there anyway. Most of the people in the primary were Democrats that simply took a GOP ballot anyway. Yeah, it's like with Donald Trump. If he gets a trial in DC, you think he's going to get a fucking fair trial? Good luck convening a jury of his peers. No, it's going to be a jury of far leftists. It's just literally a city. Well, urban areas tend to lean more left. No wonder they voted for Nikki Haley. But the number of votes was so underwhelming. It's saying only in Idaho was turnout roughly, normal. In Michigan and Missouri, turnout was a few thousand people as well. I think it's because they changed up the calendar. I wasn't even aware that the caucuses were happening the other day. And I'm a political analyst. I didn't know. I had no clue that there were even caucuses going. I mean, it wouldn't have been worth spending any time covering them because Idaho, of course, is on the Western time zone. I'm not going to stay awake until midnight in order to talk about Trump's inevitable wins or something like that. Nikki Haley finally wins a primary. but it happens to be the literal swamp. No shit. Harrison Bergeron, you can pee on your biochar to add nitrogen cheaper than fertilizer. You can, but, you know, I'd have to drink an awful lot of fluid in order to pee enough to charge that much biochar. It's, I think, 8 boxes full of it with a couple more to go. So, yeah, I mean, if the whole neighborhood was invited to store their piss in jars, I might be able to do that. I'm just going to use a fertilizer. Doc Holliday, I don't want my money back, mister. Here's another 5 for doing such an outstanding job. I will gladly take it. Thank you, Doc Holliday. Mark Frigola, why not AI sticks? If somebody wants to make an AI stick Hexenhammer saying weird shit, as long as you don't monetize it, or if you split the proceeds with me, that's perfectly fine. I don't care if you put me in a porno. Mad Max, Trump called Haley Queen of the Swamp after her mighty DC win. Lol. Yeah, I mean, she's done, but she's been done the whole fucking time. Nobody takes her seriously except for apparently herself. I have absolutely no idea why she's remaining in the race at this point. I think it's literally madness. I think she's a lunatic. Sigil Stone found the link to the other I was looking for and sent it. Seems Twitter just doesn't tell you when I send anything, because I tagged you in a post the other day asking what the fuck you follow RuneScape for. I used to play RuneScape, actually quite a lot. It's a fun game. You know, you can burn off some time, but I don't have time to burn off anymore. I've got too much work to do. Beer and Gear, can you charge the biochar with ammonia or vinegar? I don't know. You got to add a lot of nitrogen to it because carbon tends to balance with nitrogen. So if you're pumping that into the soil and you don't charge it, what ends up happening is that all the nitrogen is leached out of the soil. And so you can water it with a high yield fertilizer. That'll be fine. But I want to go organic, so I decided to charge it beforehand. And Sigil Stone. But speaking of RuneScape, I bought the board game they made, and I think they're sending me a second whole order by mistake. If no one in my family wants it, do you? I don't want another. Again, I don't have time for games for the most part. Once in a while, you play a hand of Uno or something like that. Austin James, is Ketanji the new blackface of white supremacy? Yeah, apparently. Oh, yeah, the leftists are going to chew her up. Anyway, next news story. Oh, and this is a funny one. Link in the description. By the way, there's also a link pinned at the top to my books blog, and links in the description to all 5 of my merch partners, actually. In fact, let me read those out really quickly first. First, we have pumpkinfirecrafts.us. You can get bookmarks, you can get keychains, you can get belt chains, and also spoons with the Ouroboros logo on it. Handmade, really good. Secondly, BiltongUSA.com. Of course, use code STICKS, and you can get free shipping on your order. Or AntonsUSA.com. Really delicious meat. I'm going to be getting some of the Angus and Carbonasi sticks, of course. And you can also get mugs, tumblers, and shirts from him with my logo on it. WickedNeedleEmbroidery.BigCartel.com, where you can get Sticks, Hex, and Hammer hats, which were highly sought after. I mean, I wore the hat. I had like 100 comments from people that wanted one. And yeah, very professional, very well made. And you can get it with the offset logo, or you can get it with the central logo. We have HeritageHeirloomSeedCompany.com. You can get survival buckets. Again, highly recommended. Virtually all the seedlings in this room, across the room, are from there. As well as soon, soaps. And we'll have a separate link. We're talking about that now, and I may do a Sticks, Hex, and Hammer proprietary soap blend. I'm thinking something cedary. I really like cedar. Cedar, blueberry, and clove is what I pitched. And I think that that would be a nice spicy soap. Really get you going after you're out in the woods charcoaling and shit. And then also www.websterswares.com and /sticks-wares. There's Sticks merchandise coming soon. Also, there's a lot of Trump merchandise. So again, go there. It's a good idea. And you can get Trump flags and signs and so forth, as well as many other things there. It's more eclectic. But now, back to the news. We have to talk about the NYPD. NYPD News over on Twitter. And this is an official account. This isn't just a blue check mark. This is a gray check mark. So keep in mind, this is actually representing the NYPD. Recently, your NYPD 90 PCT patrol cops responded to a call of a man with a gun in Brooklyn. Thanks to their swift response and help from the community, an individual currently on probation possessing this weapon and fake FBI shield was safely apprehended and taken to jail. There's a problem, though. That's not actually a gun at all. It's a cosplaying prop. You could buy them online. It's a steampunk prop. It's basically a fake revolver with a sword on the end, and I don't even know that it's made of metal. Actually, it's probably fucking plastic or something. But he got arrested for this. It's not a gun. It's incapable of firing. By the way, even if you're out on probation, if you have a black powder weapon, which this is modeled after, that's legal, actually. Felons can own them as well. You can also, as a felon, own a flamethrower in, I think, 47 different states. State laws apply, disclaimer. So I'm not telling you if you're a violent felon, a serial killer, that you should go out and try to buy a flamethrower, but you can mail order them, so it shouldn't be difficult. The NYPD really fucking fucked up with this one. You're bragging about confiscating a weapon, but it's not a weapon. It's basically, it's the equivalent of you taking somebody's cap gun away and detaining them in jail and apparently being too stupid to realize it's a cap gun or something like that. A squirt gun that's semi-realistic. Oh my God, we got it off the streets. Good job, boys. Yeah, we saved several lives today. I don't even know that the blade on there is not plastic. I'm pretty sure that it is. This is a prop gun. It's for steampunk cosplaying. It's part of a costume. It's not real. I guess you know, maybe there should have been an orange nib on the end of the actual gun. It's a fake gun blade, basically. Like the idea, you have a revolver that doubles as a sword, like a short sword, but it's not real. It's fake, and they're bragging about it. I archived the post for a reason. I have a feeling at some point they're going to take it down in humiliation. Oh shit, you know, whatever. As far as the fake FBI badge, dude, you can get that in the dollar store, in like those kids' toy sets that have those, you know, plastic fake AKs and shit like that you press the button and they rattle and make a little pew pew noise. What are you talking about? It's not illegal unless you present yourself as a law enforcement officer. It's not illegal to have the fake badge. Again, otherwise every 12-year-old in the country would be jailed. As far as the gun, it's not a real gun. So, I mean, you didn't recognize that right off the bat? A 2-second look at this weapon would show you it's incapable of firing. Dude, the blade curves up ahead of the barrel in the first place. So if you were to fire such a weapon, you'd blow yourself up or something like that. What the fuck are you talking about? It makes no sense. Maybe I should get one of these and wander around in New York City. It's a piece of plastic. It's not a real weapon. I mean, they detained somebody because of having a prop gun. I might want to talk to Alex Baldwin about that one. Yeah, that one weren't no prop, by the way. Augusto Mimochette. I'm pretty sure Nikki just likes being dominated by Trump. She probably gets herself off every night thinking about Big Orange Man. By the way, Orange Man Bad Parts 1 and 2 available on my books blog under the My Work section. I think that a lot of you would find that very, very intriguing indeed. I don't think there's a section for anyone named Nikki. Don't think I put that one in there. There's plenty of other shit, though. I figured that leftoids have weird fantasies about Trump, often involving masochism, and so I wrote a couple of booklets that were joking in nature on the subject. Had a fun time. No, I mean, no reasonable person would look at this gun and say it was real anyway. It doesn't look real. It clearly doesn't have any capability of putting anything in the cylinder. The cylinder doesn't exist. It's just a chunk of plastic or tin or something like that. It doesn't even hook into the weapon. It is a prop. I don't know that that blade is sharp either. It's probably dull as a fucking marble and probably made of plastic. It is a prop gun. And they still arrested somebody for possessing it as though it was an actual weapon. This is a legit New York PD page. This is not a parody. It's not. This is real. They actually hauled somebody in for this, and it doesn't make really any sense. Tom Baldwin, want a rototiller? 212cc replacement motor. I will be renting one, but I don't need it for anything expansive. Basically, just for the 2 new beds on the foreside of the garden. And yeah, everything else will be. I've got it basically taken care of. I'm going to be getting garden stakes this week. A roll of chicken wire. I'm going to replace the fence entirely. But no, I thank you, but no, I don't need a rototiller. William Schwant, you've been working out sticks? Yeah, outside a lot. I'll be doing that after this live stream. So yeah, the NYPD humiliating itself as usual. I don't know what the fuck they were trying to do there. Sorry, I'm still a little bit throaty after my sickness. Again, I've had 4 nosebleeds 4 days in a row because I blew out a vessel or something. King of Biltong, good morning from Anton's in Roanoke, Texas. Free shipping for your Biltong using code STICKS on www.biltongusa.com and www.antonusa.com. Thanks to Andy from Louisiana and the jerky guy that visited us. #ClankNation. Shout out to them. Get more Biltong. It's good for you. Sigil Stone, fair enough. The rules for the board game says it's meant to be sat down for an hour or so at a time. Maybe we can draw a name from Stick's hat and I'll send it to a random clanker or something. That'd be cool. RuneScape board game. Brain Biscuit. What is the chance that Democrat majority states just stop complying with any SCOTUS decisions they don't like? What would stop them from doing that, if anything, other than fear of mass social unrest? It'll be difficult. Yeah, states, I mean, they're already ignoring immigration law and Bruin. So that could happen. Yeah, I don't know exactly what we'd do. Sigilstone. If fake FBI badges are now illegal, then Spirit Halloween is fucked. And they say he's in probation, but not for what? I've been on probation and still allowed to own guns. Just more anarcho-tyranny. Mulgira, the weapon looks like something out of Final Fantasy VIII or Bloodborne. It's hilarious. Yes, Final Fantasy being mentioned quite explicitly multiple times on that one. Sigilstone. Congress set next week to debate banning high-capacity super soakers. Nobody needs more than 12 ounces of water. Transylvanian 90. Hey, Sticks, RE, the Canadian hate speech law BS. Where'd you see that it involved extradition of non-Canadians? The National Post article link didn't mention extradition, which seems far-fetched to me. I don't know that it's actually the case. That was a claim by a clanker in the live stream. But anyway, insulting Trudeau. There's nothing wrong with that. Sparky, greetings, fearless leader. Greetings to you as well. Next news story, we may be getting a ceasefire. 6-week ceasefire basically accepted by Israel, waiting on Hamas, U.S. official says. We'll see whether that actually happens. I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical because Israel has already stated it intends to indefinitely hold Gaza, has dissolved the governing authority there, and continues its military operations. Hamas may be willing to sign off on a tentative ceasefire, but, I mean, will it hold is the real question. You got 30,000 people dead. You know, the U.S. just dropped 40,000 aid packages all over Gaza, but it's a drop in the bucket to what the population there needs in a single day. There's more than 2 million people internally displaced. I'm wondering where this is going to lead because, I mean, I can't imagine it leading to a good situation for the people of Gaza or the people of Israel, by the way. War is hell. That's why we should fucking strenuously avoid it, and anyone waging it, they should be the first to go. Put the Hamas leaders and the Israeli leaders on the front lines and let them decimate each other, and then everyone else can finally leave in peace. But it's rather sad. I mean, you've got the population of a decent-sized little city is dead. Mainly children and women, by the way. It's mainly civilians, not combatants. Hamas has suffered huge casualties, but it's like, okay, you still got 20,000 Hamas members. Are you going to kill 60,000 more people in order to root them out? Well, you, by the way, undermine the entire substructure of urban Gaza by flooding it with seawater, which is not going to be pretty in a few years from now, when that inevitably corrodes and erodes away the foundations of those buildings, making them completely inoperable. Where the hell are these people supposed to go? Israel had a tentative deal there that they were thinking about, where it was like, okay, we'll pay off all of Egypt's debt and they can go to the Sinai. But Egypt said no, because they don't want those people to vote for the Muslim Brotherhood over there. So I don't exactly know what's going to happen. I have no clue what's going to happen with the population of Gaza. I mean, they've been in an open-air prison anyway. Again, I'm not Team Palestine or Team Israel, so I remain more ambivalent on the moral side of this issue. I'm just wondering how anyone expects to solve the problem of Hamas. I don't think it's really possible in the physical sense. I'm worried that it's going to become a forever war, and the United States is going to perpetually be funding it too. I'm worried that the United States is going to spend hundreds of billions of dollars that we could spend on the homeless in our own country, propping up, what's left of Gaza. It's a pile of rubble. There's nothing else there. It's been bombed to shit. There's nowhere to go. So I don't know. Mike L2535, are you a fan of Fleckus? I have no clue what that or is. Is it a person? Is it a food? I don't know. So yeah, as far as Gaza goes, we got some big problems there because, I mean, there's really no way out at this point. Barzuki, Sticks, check out this deal for your AR, hard to beat. And it's a Palmetto State Armory link. I don't know if I can read that out on YouTube, and it's too long anyway. Yeah, Magpul. Yeah. I was fooling around with the AR last night. It cycles really, really nice. Like when I used an empty magazine, of course. It pops right out and everything, nice and smooth. It's perfect. I can't wait to put optics on it or iron sights or possibly both. Apache. Every leftist on X is saying that SCOTUS is reneging on states' rights, meanwhile ignoring that Trump was never even charged with insurrection. Exactly. If there's no charge, then there's no criminal result. You'd be violating the right to due process if you did penalize somebody simply for people's opinions. People have the opinion that Donald Trump engaged in insurrection. Just because a court declares it to be the case doesn't mean it's the case. They didn't have a trial. They didn't have jurisdiction to hold a trial. It's fucking bullshit. I'm glad that they lost. Steve, I'm glad that it was, unanimous too. Steve D. Martin, here's a little something towards your garden. By the way, I drink my coffee black sans spoon, so I'll use my Beretta M9A3 to give it a clank. Oh, goodness. Yeah, no, I keep the spoon in the coffee. Supposedly, it's an Eastern European thing dating back to my Slovakian ancestors on my mom's side of the family. I don't know if that's true or not. Any Slovaks in the audience, maybe you can tell me. Do people tend to carry their spoon in their drink when they're drinking it? I don't know. I have no clue. I get 2 spoons here. This one's from Pumpkin Fire. That's the Ouroboros spoon. I brought it in here thinking I needed a spoon. Then I realized I already had a spoon in the cup. So now I get 2. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 fucking spoons in the coffee. Source, so happy to see Denver get told 9-0 to eat a dick. Yeah, dick and ass at the same time. They're licking that taint clean. Mikuhuntu, 4xbot. Fleckastox has the best new podcast of all time. Never heard of them. Have to check it out. Next news story. Hundreds of prisoners escape Port-au-Prince prison as violence escalates in Haitian capital. Yeah, if you thought that Haiti was bad before, yeah, they found a way to make it fucking worse. Now there's a bunch of felons running around with weapons. Haiti is non-functional at this point. We're just going to paint the devil on the wall here and tell it how it is and not mince words. Haiti is a collapsed state. It's no longer a state entity at all. The government can't control things. International aid groups have been incapable for years of solving the problem. Haiti is collapsed. There is no state there. You are insane if you decide to visit Haiti. I'm sure nice climate, well, depending on the time of year, and, long-suffering people. Most people haven't broken down into criminal anarchy despite an entire decade of total destabilization. They eat mud for lunch in some cases. That's not hyperbole. It's not an exaggeration. It's also got minerals in it, so it's basically like a low-rent vitamin supplement. I feel very, very sorry for them, though, because the Clinton Foundation, the Red Cross, Doctors Without Borders, a million different aid groups have gone into Haiti, right? They've all been, supposedly at least, trying to help, to set up housing and basic medical care and stuff. Yeah, Haiti's still a shithole. There's no other way to put it. In the Western Hemisphere, it's the most impoverished country of all. People try to go across the border to the Dominican Republic on a regular basis. And imagine you're Dominican or something like that. You're working in border patrol there. How hard your job must goddamn be. I'd probably rather be on the U.S. southern border, actually, at this point. Haiti doesn't have an economy. It's been completely wrecked. Don't even regard it as a state. We should just score it out of the history books and say, okay, Haiti collapsed. It no longer exists. Maybe the United States should annex it or something like that. Probably 90% of the population would like the idea if we did, by the way. We'll take the Dominican Republic at the same time, just unify the island. I don't think the Dominican Republicans would like that very much. Why don't we just take it over? Without any shot fired. We'll say, oh, we're raising the U.S. flag here. We'll take care of things. Give us your land. At least China won't be able to build a base on it or something. I have to expect the Chinese to come in and try to do that or something like that. Yeah. And the thing is, Haiti was the result of a revolutionary era slave revolt, by the way. So the Haitians, mainly a black population taken from Africa, they rose up against their colonial masters and mainly slaughtered them all. And there were a few people that managed to escape. They were like, oh shit, things are getting real here and we're outnumbered, 10 to 1 or thereabouts. Maybe we need to get on our ship and sail off somewhere. We'll go back to France or we'll go to Florida or something. They're the lucky ones. But Haiti since then established at least a rudimentary economy, but it collapsed. But yeah, their huge earthquake there basically leveled half of Port-au-Prince. So the one city in the whole country that of any means was basically destroyed. And since then, things have just been completely on the ropes. This is the latest escalation over 5 or 6 other escalations. How much longer before effectively the country literally does not exist? Just turn it into a U.S. territory or something like that. That's what I would suggest. Again, you wouldn't have to grapple with the nation of Haiti, their government, because their government doesn't have any control over the situation anyway. Let's take the fucking land. Recession proof. Hello from Haiti. Things are getting worse and worse every day, and you are 1,000% correct. Yeah, no, I mean, if you're actually in Haiti, my condolences. That must be fucking hell. Maybe if you're in like a hinterland out in the hills near the Dominican border, maybe things are a little bit better. I mean, you have a tropical climate. You have every opportunity for fucking tourism, for fucking agricultural economy. There are resources there. They're actually fairly plentiful, as well as fuel offshore and the claimed that one guano island that the United States also claims and had a lighthouse on until 2004. I can't remember exactly the name of it, but it looks pretty lit. That'd be a good tourist destination. All you have to do is develop it. It's the same with Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico entered as a state would be much better off. With Haiti, considering its size and its relative poverty, for pennies on the dollar, if we sent the money that we've sent to Ukraine, for instance, down to Haiti for development purposes, it'd be flush by now. There'd be hotels and casinos and shit like that. And people would actually be able to get 3 hots in a cot. The Emperor's Champion. You'd have to utilize martial law and go full Tywin Lannister to fix Haiti. Well, yeah, absolutely. But they've already got that going on now. Andrew Van Halen. Do you ever see monarchies returning in Europe this century? I hope not. Sparky. Clay with salt added specifically. Went on a strict water and mineral fast back in 97. After 2 weeks, I was no longer hungry and had a higher level of consciousness. My golf game got much better. Interesting. Yeah, so Haiti basically has become non-functional. There's nothing left there. There's literally no hope for anyone there other than annexation or something along those lines. Steve D. Martin, here's a little something towards... Oh, I already did that. You're the one that donated for my garden and coffee. Sigil Stone, people in Haiti walk down the street eating roast human legs. What the fuck do you have to do to get in prison there? I don't know. You have to be part of the wrong political faction, I guess. Transylvanian, you realize if the U.S. were to annex Haiti, literally every Haitian would move to the U.S. and turn some cities more Haitian, to put it politely. Yeah, and some of us would move to Haiti and have little cabana gardens and shit like that. I've thought about Puerto Rico, actually, already. Sigil Stone, on the other side of the island, the Dominicans are doing well. Wonder what the difference is. I don't think we should allow the Haitians to infect other nations. They seem... I can't say that last part on a YouTube live stream. Sorry about that. Oh, and I'm going to send you a hilarious video on Twitter involving Haiti I got from Gab. There's absolutely nothing in your video you can repeat on a YouTube live stream. I am not particularly surprised at that, but I do appreciate funny videos of people acting like retards. The Forced Meme. Congrats on the AR, Sticks. Don't forget to get some good training so you can learn how to run and gun with your new rifle. I'm already aware of how to utilize the rifle. I just need to get sights on it. Mikuhuntu 4X bot. Remember when Conan O'Brien went to Haiti to own Trump? Yes, and then he was at the the one functioning resort, and he's off on the tropical waters, and in the background there's people scrounging for food on the beach and shit. Now that really owned Donald. It really owned Orange Man. And then the final news story. Oregon may revive penalties for drug possession. What will the change do? I'd like to put it lightly. I do not believe in criminalizing drugs. I would point out, however, that the Oregon bill that's being proposed doesn't affect marijuana legality. That's still legal, which I agree with. Marijuana is not a problem. It also continues to decriminalize soft drugs, so LSD, psilocybin, which in the state of Oregon is recreationally available. They even have dispensaries for it. What this goes after is fentanyl and heroin and crack and methamphetamine and shit like that. I still believe that these drugs should be legal, but they are more of a menace. I've done plenty of drugs. Again, disclaimer, I'm not encouraging you to do so. By the way, please send no more super chats because I don't want to overrun the Quarterings live stream too much, and I think he starts about now. So we'll keep it a little bit short. I started late. And with hard drugs, though, you get both a physical addiction and the habituation. And so it's much, much harder. It's like with tobacco or alcohol. There's a reason why it's so hard to kick those habits for the person that's addicted to them. Soft drugs are not particularly addictive. I'm just saying the reality is there. Scientific studies have been carried on in Europe for decades in the absence of a drug war there. I've used LSD. I've used mescaline. I've used psilocybin. I've taken ayahuasca. I've done Syrian rue. I've done morning glory. I've done, well, basically name it. If it's a psychedelic, I've probably tried it. Other than Iboga and a few of the others, I've pretty much tried them all. They're not addictive. They're not really habituating either because, you know, if you take LSD, you're so incapacitated in the sense of being able to do your day-to-day thing. Going to be kind of difficult to do that with a 9-to-5. Yeah, you could probably go to work on mescaline, but I think you might get fired for that. But with crack and meth and stuff like that, in some cases, you get a shorter action, like with crack and 20, 25-minute high coke, things like that. Never tried it. Just to be clear, I knew to stay away from hard drugs because I know I have an addictive personality. These particular substances are both, they cause physical dependence and they cause habituation. And so they're much worse. I don't support any aspect of the drug war. I don't believe in jailing people for simple possession, even of those hard drugs. But if you are going to have a drug bill, focusing on those hard substances is the right way to go. I believe that it should not come with jail time. I believe it should come with mandatory rehab, rather. And if it takes 5 or 6 tries to get that person clean, still, it's a benefit in the end. And it still costs less than putting them in jail. That's what I would say. So, I softly oppose the basic premise, but I can understand where they're coming from because they've been overrun with drugs. As long as they're not going after the soft ones, so Harold the Happy Hippie can continue to drop acid in his flat, it's better than the alternative. I still think decriminalizing hard drugs and having mandatory rehab is the way to go, as opposed to a jail sentence. John Hoyle, 5 gets you 10, that those Haitian inmates end up in the U.S. through our dysfunctional border. Yeah, that's the other point. I mean, they're going to come over anyway, so why not just fucking annex the country? Imagine how much tourism you'd have. And it'd be a great military position in the Caribbean. Joe, why is Puerto Rico not a state? They keep voting in favor of statehood, but the parties keep, the ones that are against statehood, they sit out the elections in order to have less than 50% of the eligible voters voting on the ballot initiative so that it's not binding. American Exceptionalist, do you support mass incarceration or Nordic model? I don't support any of the above. I support I've spoken before about my thoughts on crime. Categorize it in 4 categories. There are crimes that are meaningful, and there are crimes that are very much lesser. There are crimes that are nonviolent, and there are crimes that are violent. If it's violent and meaningful, throw the goddamn book at them. Serial killers, rapists, child molesters, etc., throw the book at them. If they're meaningful but they're not violent, that's white-collar crime. Restitution, community service, etc. Maybe you have some stint in jail or something, but it should be lesser. If it's a violent crime, but it's not a meaningful one, so simple assault. You know, you got drunk in the bar and punched a dude out, and then he decked you or something like that. Again, a short sentence, jail, not prison, restitution, clean the graffiti up, etc. And if it's neither meaningful nor violent, it shouldn't be a crime. Like jaywalking. Okay, unless you've got a kid with you, if you just want to walk across the road, taking into consideration that if a driver hits you, it's goddamn your fault and you can't do anything about it, go ahead and fucking jaywalk. Public intoxication. You want to be drunk in public? As long as you're not being disorderly and pissing in the alleyway or something like that, I don't give a fuck. By the way, it's legal in Europe. You see people staggering around clearly intoxicated all the time and nobody does anything about it. Simple drug possession, etc., etc. Unless there's a victim, it's not a crime at all. Semo, good morning. Sticks, can you give a shout out to my sci-fi novel, Exodus 2065? Did you get a chance to read it? A graphic novel version is coming soon. Again, Exodus 2065. I have not yet had a chance to read it. I have been laid out with work because of the garden prep. I will get to that this summer. Again, please, no more super chats, because that was the last news story. I still got a couple to go through. Sparky, your boy Woodrow Wilson deployed Marines to Haiti at the behest of New York bankers to keep wages down in American factories and occupied Haiti for decades. U.S. keeps Haiti down. Let them do it themselves. At this point, there's not enough infrastructure there for them to do it themselves, unfortunately. And a follow-up, denazify Israel. I think there's one over on Rumble. Yeah, I think so. Sigil, you ever do that drug where a reindeer eats the mushrooms and you drink its piss? I have done amanitas, but I did not take it that way. I just ground it up and put it in some applesauce. I did get too high once, and I did end up puking and going into delirium, but the other time I measured the dose properly, like perfectly. And it felt like I was glowing and weightless, and it was basically, it's the Christmas drug. I can understand why it's associated with Santa and shit like that. It felt like I was literally weightless, like I could, and it does increase your strength. This is actually true. Amanita muscaria, properly dosed to the psychedelic, not the hallucinogenic level, it does increase your physical strength. I don't know exactly how, maybe reducing inhibition or something like that. I could lift myself up with just, I mean, I could plank and shit like that. I am not a strong dude, but I was capable of doing that when I was on Amanita. So I can understand why berserkers took it. It must have been insane. Sparky, how do we know Israel isn't the 51st state? If they were the 51st state, they'd only control 2 senators. Good joke, comrade. You go to Gulag last. No, I preferred Amanita over psilocybin, that's for sure. I did it on, I don't know, half a dozen different occasions. Mostly threshold effects, but that one time I dosed it properly. It was full-on psychedelic for a couple of hours, but no delirium or anything like that. It's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, again, disclaimer, I'm not saying that you should use these substances. I'm just saying I had a good time at the time. LSD was my favorite, though. LSD was definitely the best I've ever had. And it was real. It wasn't that 2CE or whatever the fuck it was. It was genuine LSD. I got it at UVM. Cost quite a bit. You don't need much. Those little tiny blotters, much smaller than a stamp, and you just chew one of those up, put it under your tongue for a while, and boy, oh boy, holy shit. I was, Phil413, don't do salvia. It's kind of scary. I did a lot of salvia divinorum. I personally loved it. Anyway, I'm going to go offline now. I thank you to the almost 2,500 people that watched live. I'll be live tomorrow with more news. I've got to go and do some charcoaling, and at some point I should probably eat it as well. You know, it's probably important. Right now I'm just running on caffeine more than anything else. I had a snack earlier, but I need some of that fucking biltong. And I've got to make lots and lots of biochar. So yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. I'll have everything lined up, and we'll talk about the news. That's about all. Peace out.